and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am. Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers, and all those of you feel called to the path of the divine beloved. So today I wish to go a little bit deeper. As always, you can see me here in the back with my love teddy. He's actually a glow teddy, so let's try him on for today, just for today. I really wanted to bring some of the furthering of the depth of information that I always bring through the, the secret law of divine love, which is kind of like an overlaying of my latest video. The last two videos I made, one was about the beloved completion, the other one is about becoming the human beloved. And although I had some other information prepared for the new Ascension and Galactic Update, this just kept pouring through because personally I was going through a deep synthesis of our human relationships and what a lot of us know as this divine remembrance from on high, this beautiful divine love, which is instantaneous. We sometimes call it love at first sight. It's the love that everything just perfect is just matching naturally, natural harmony. All the multidimensional levels feel complete. And as we've been going and moving through these chapters of our so-called twin journey, which is the journey within, and a lot of people during those times have been ascribing their inner journey to an external person. And a lot of times, this person represented to me what they call the twin flame. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It's not about a label. It's about the specific journey that we've each ascribed to undergo in this turbulent changing times. Because the thing is that the masculine and feminine essences, the energies on this planet that were a part of this creation, were constantly intertwining and kind of dancing this dance. And we've all kind of seen and witnessed that this current age of patriarchy is moving aside, but it's not going to be an age of matriarchy like some are saying. There will be an age of balance. So as this pendulum is swinging from left to right, making us have these experiences of many extremes, and a lot of times we feel we already know something, we've established our knowing, we kind of feel, yeah, this is it. Then we get a next level of unfolding. The layers of the onions are just getting deeper and deeper. And a lot of the things on this journey right now, where a lot of us are, they don't make sense anymore. So imagine me talking about that sense of completion. And then people say, well, what does that mean, completion? What does something end? Are we supposed to reunite? And a lot of people are talking about this twin soul reunion. And for a lot of us, this reunion occurred for us receiving that essence, beloved, from the higher counterparts of our being and anchoring here within ourselves in the mirror. So remember when a lot of people spoke about the twin flame prophecies, the twins are returning. There's some twin flame power couples that are going to hold the light on this planet, 144,000, or all these numbers we've been receiving. So the thing is, what Spirit showed me is that that's true, but that the human mind likes to kind of make its own kind of like bubble wrap around it. There's like bubble wrap around something that has a beautiful essence. So what we created was our own version of this reality. So what I'm being shown is that it's true, that for us to anchor this new light grid, this new planetary light grid, the diamond light grid on this planet, we did need the illumined twin souls to hold this capacity. But that doesn't mean that the twin soul will be two as in pairs in physical. The direct manifestation is how we know it. And for that to be fully grounded in our earthly bodies to hold so much light, a lot of us needed to undergo this process alone because we needed to really prepare our sacred vessels, our bodies, for this work of service. But this is shifting now. So this means that we really know and we've understood ourselves, and I was shown this as an illumined twin soul pathway. But a lot of people confuse that for having a person that will necessarily, have the torch with you. So I was shown that through all that, the essence level, that I was connecting with my own, twin soul, which basically is the creation level template for when you enter this planet as well. So in greater galactic levels as we know them, that's not even anymore a theme where we are existing existing in different multitudes, because we're more group consciousness. And I'm going to share this in my upcoming galactic update, because everything becomes more group council, a group of beings. Well, we still have these, many times these couples, divine couplings, as a part of these light councils. But here on earth, what we've been doing is we've been neglecting and even denying an aspect of ourselves that is this human love. And recently, more and more of us illumined ones were being initiated into this pathway, which is, but what does it really mean to get acquainted with love in physical form? So you know, probably, and I've probably heard, and today I got this message from someone doing these oracles for me, from Lady Venus Kumara and the Master Kumara. These are the Venusian energies that seeded life on this planet Earth, and later these energies, some of them went back to the Pleiadian system, and I really know that timeline, right, myself, and then coming back to Earth to kind of oversee the seeds that have been planted way, way before. But the thing is that as the Earth was developing and it was going through many different stages in its evolution, the Earth itself, we've had different eras of domination. So we've had matriarchy, when the queen principle, when the priestesses were the main ones. They were the most adorned, the most worshipped. So when we went into this other extreme, because the feminine authority has risen so much, we went into this other extreme, which is the fall. And then the negation of that feminine authority. And later we had ages when we only talked about the gurus and the divine teachers, the teachers of light, in a term of being a physical, masculine physicality. So what we're moving through now is the age of, I was shown this once as the Lemurian, more mother worshipping aspect, and the Atlantean, which was more the male dominant and the mind. So the heart and the mind, these ages that we've already gathered so much information from, and when a lot of souls are waking up, these different aspects of themselves, as some of them are more migrating towards Lemuria, some are saying more Atlantean, but what we're doing is merging that in the sacred space of our heart. So what's really taking place for us at this age, and some of us are pillars for that first, wave of establishing this, but we need to acquire this within ourselves. How do we do that? It's an unknown path, because no one shows us exactly how to do that. And if we only follow the prophecies and what's been said about the so-called twin flames, it's how it's going to unfold in the physical, we're really blindfolded as to reality that's really taking place now, which is only known to us through the heart. So what I'm being shown more and more is that our divine child, which is no longer the wounded human child, we cannot confuse the two. So the wounded human child is when we're still making ourselves whole, and it has these needs that we need to kind of fulfill. But when we really embrace ourselves and really remember, and we ascend, and we bring the light of our ascension into our descended human form, we're becoming more of a magical child. So that magical child is the inner child on a higher level. It's no longer wounded. And because that is no longer wounded, the essence of that divine beloved child in our human form really has its own intelligence. So it works through our body, and our body just knows, and it gives us the messages. It gives us the messages, what we love, how we love it, who do we love. We don't always have a logical and reasonable explanation for that, but it's the wisdom of that beautiful cosmic child that we are now birthing through. So it's the cosmic love meeting the human love in the middle space of our cosmic heart. So that heart is, in a way, it's a bridge between these lower descended worlds. So it's the womb of creation, and this higher mind, the spirit, which is the masculine aspect of creation. So the heart is the bridge for the soul, for the light of the soul. I'm not sure you know this picture. There's a picture, someone sent it to me this week, when you have in the middle the yin-yang symbol that represents the soul and the unconscious and conscious aspects of it, and the ego, which is the driving chariot of our physical human vessel. And then on the downward part, which is the identification with that ego, the result of it is the id. It was called the id in these I think in the certain, yeah, I don't know how to call it. Well, there's a psychological movement and certain philosophy. So the upper part is known as the superconscious mind. And a lot of us who are so connected with these higher realms, we're constantly receiving from these superconscious realms. So that is why the prophecies that we're receiving are on the essence level. And please check out the channel of my beloved cosmic sister, Katrina Lucas. She's from Sacred Mysteries. And she explained once in one of her videos the twin flame prophecy and what does it really mean, and how are we as human and grounded embodied aspects, so the counterparts of our higher selves that are human now, how are we really going to move through these, through these times, these turbulent times, by decoding these prophecies in a more grounded way, by becoming the prophecy itself. So I'm not sure you're aware of that, but all these prophecies that were given to humanity were star-seeded origin. It's because these aspects of us, we already planted this. We planted this for ourselves. So it's in a way these higher aspects that came and connected with the, let's say, certain indigenous types of people that were more open and receptive because they were more prone to receiving from those levels. So they met these counterparts, they met these ET beings even, and they were actually writing this down. So when we say a Hopi prophecy or Indian prophecy of that kind, or this proverb says this and that, this will be happening, a lot of this is true, but it's because these future aspects of us were making contact with the current living situations, and they were giving us and showing us potentials that we're now actually living and experiencing. So the same goes for these aspects of us that understand this eternal, always existing love. That is, when I awakened to this love, this divine love, it was when I remember my counterpart, but I felt it more like an essence level. So it spoke to me through everyone, through everything. It's our own encoded in the language. And when I learned the language, the longing became stronger, and in a way it got less needy. Like, oh, I need it in the physical, because it showed me that I need to gobble it up. As a physical human, I need to become all these aspects myself, because this is how I bring the aspect that I call the twin love, which is the love of all life in creation, the twin aspect of our being. So the feminine, masculine forces of creation that are meeting up. And when this is taking place, when we research and observe our human relationships, we really have to be clear and honest with every single layer that we're being shown. And sometimes it's so many layers that come up that we won't always know the right way through the logic and the reason. But our human child, the divine magical child that is awakened with so many of us who've done the ascension pathway and are now descending with our awareness, we're being shown that pathway. So the twin completion, which I talked about in my previous video, around a few videos back, is about that stage. What comes next? So what next when you feel you really embraced this part of you? How do you learn about that part of you to guide you? How do you let it speak to you in most natural, organic way, that you no longer feel that only your divine authority now has a saying, that only your divine authority guides you, that your higher priest, for example. I used to very much be in the high priestess aspect for most of my awakening journey, but then I've remembered that this priest aspect, a lot of times it chooses a life of isolation and loneliness. And this huge part of me, when I'm magical inner child awakened, was like, no, I don't want this anymore. It's no longer my experience. It's no longer necessary. We've been there and we've done that. So there was a lot of aspects that we, on a human level, please bear with me, because when I talk about these things, they're not just happening now in this timeline. They're a much bigger multiversal picture and of a galactic origin that we're actually kind of moving through at this time. And it's on a creation, it's on a core level that we're experiencing this. And a lot of us going through this as the first wave, it's like, wow, sometimes it's scary and we don't see what's in front of us, but we know we're doing this work. And we know that the feminine and masculine forces are now trying and wanting to meet in equality, in the divinity. Not just one aspect is risen, the other is seen as less than. And kind of like, if you look at the example when the spiritual people, the spiritual communities look down on the earthly experience, and we've all been there when we've been saying, oh, the 3D, you mean, right? Oh, the 5D is so much better. But the thing is, nothing is better and worse. There's just different bandwidths. There's just different choices, different experiences. So as I was shown something in one of my latest meditations, because there was this question posed, what's a source of something that you're experiencing in your relationships? And basically, I was shown something on a bigger level, and I was shown something that looked like Egypt. What I don't believe that it was necessarily connected to my life, or it has nothing to do with incarnation, but I was archetypally shown this. So there was an aspect that was like a queen, right? The queen of, let's just put it like that. It was a queen of Egypt or something like that. And she was riding in one of those chariots, and she saw someone, and she fell in love with someone who was from the common people we could call the slaves that worked physically. And she had a relationship, but what the challenge that started taking place was when she saw that she needs to save that slave, and that she needs to bring it up to her level. And what I was shown is that a lot of us coming from these higher realms, or we've even on the planet, a lot of beings had these roles when they were seen as either they were worshipped or certain star beings, or we're still being looked at, wow, this person has cosmic knowledge, woo, they're more aware than me. It's just that you can have more divine remembrance, and that's it. But what we're really embracing now is a part of this divine equality, not just divine feminine, masculine, spirit, matter, but also all dimensions, all levels of experience. Can we see them as equal? Because no one is in truth a slave. No soul is a slave. No one is a queen. These are archetypes we've played. And a lot of us maybe carry more of these archetypes when we are more royal in nature. But that means because we've had knowledge. And our assignment within the soul template of our origin was to spread that knowledge. And of course, a lot of these were seeded through these experiments here on the planet when there were certain elites that really kind of held their close circles, and how they were actually acquiring the knowledge and how they were distributing to a special chosen circles. It wasn't for the masses, it wasn't for the common people, because they didn't have yet the awareness to understand it. But what I was shown is that how the feminine and masculine aspects need to meet and want to meet. The twin flame is not just you and another person. When we say the twin soul, it's actually the twin nature of the whole existence. Everything has its own counterpart. So if you are royalty and then you see, oh, another aspect as a slave, how can this be met? How can these aspects be met without one seeing the other as less than? So the moment when we try to save something or someone, or see their chosen experience as pardon me, or you see their chosen experience as less worthy or something like that, and we're playing this game of duality, and we're continuously feeding the separation. So this week I've seen someone posted this quote where it said something like, the emptiest people are actually those who are most full of themselves. And something just didn't feel right when I read this quote. It was supposed to be this spiritual quote, and I felt this just feeds more separation. And the voice within me, my magical child, said, do we still need those kind of quotes? Because the moment we're kind of constantly, it's like we're repeating the same stories. We're repeating, even when we're saying we're in patriarchy, why are we even still saying that? All the things that we're kind of still saying, we're still ascribing to that reality. But our mission, our role as those of us who are aware, I talk about you specifically, Essential Pioneers, because you know who you are and you know you have the wisdom to bring yourself to the path of unity consciousness. So for me, the twin soul is about nothing else but the unity consciousness that you embrace and express and fully embody within yourself. And these people you meet, and a lot of times you will feel, well, that's the twin flame, and you think it becomes about the other person. In truth, it's about achieving, mastering, and trailblazing with unity consciousness. And that was the true origin. So the unity consciousness in itself means equality, divine equality. The truth within all different realities is always an essence that permeates all levels, all realms of experiences, all choices. So the separation is the seeing of us as less, more, or, separate from my source. So these are the aspects that are not anymore aware of that unity consciousness. So when we're seeing those experiences, and I've showed you this in one example, right? The queen and the slave, they actually meet themselves as divine lovers. They're love. And when you love someone, it doesn't matter what kind of caste system or what kind of origin, they belong to. So sometimes a lot of us have this stellar energy within us, more awake than others. Some people might be more earthly, but what we're doing is we're merging the earth wisdom, this just life or wisdom that was gathered throughout lifetimes, with the wisdom that's more vertical, that comes from the realms of illumination, which is something for me that I know that I bring. But even I myself am not whole if I don't allow these experiences that are coming maybe more from earth realms and earth levels. So I don't have to choose everything that certain people are choosing, but I cannot be within unity consciousness. And the Teddy says, I'm going to spark up again. If a part of me says, well, these experiences are less than, or yuck, I'm not going to engage in that. That is so separate. That is so feeding the reality, when just me thinking that is also propelling and feeding that. It's just the same as if I look someone and say, well, they're empty, they're shallow, and I continue to feed that storyline. So we, as the awakened aware ones, the conscious beings who know how to work with our mastery, it will become more and more our assignment. And this is the next step that I'm talking about, is what comes next with your completion. It's just spreading the unity consciousness into all realms, into speaking and allowing all voices of you to speak. Like, for example, I'm going to share with you that for me, being in this cosmic knowledge, being the ambassador of truth on so many levels was always the easy thing. I've never struggled with that. People ask me, how do you trust? How do you know that? Well, that's an aspect with me that I already bring. I already mastered that. That's not the hard part. The hardest part for me was human relationships, human relations, human dogmas, human perceptions, human filters, lower density emotions. That for me was the challenging part to embrace. And the thing was that, of course, I always needed to stay true to who I am, to be within my nature, but not to see other choices and realities as less than, as less important. Well, someone has wisdom to share from their own experience. I wouldn't say no because this and that, because I have a higher knowledge. It's just maybe wider, it encompasses more. It doesn't mean now that it's less than or it's more important, because if you look at the nature of all life in existence, all levels come from one, and they're all interlayered. So one aspect cannot exist without the other. Everything coexists. And when we will shift to the aspect of us that is coexistence, only then we can have conscious co-creation. It's cooperation, it's community, it's the consciousness, the twin flame love. The twin soul love is actually a consciousness, and that's how I'm calling this video. As you can see, it's a lot of people have been placing the focus on personal relationship between two people. But once you master this, of course, you need to do it within yourself. Because there was always this question, can someone fulfill all parts of you? Agape love, eros love, familiar love, love of service, devotional love, all these love. Can one other person, can they be a mirror to all that, to all those various aspects of love in human form? That was the question. No one knows. But there is one person, you, because you're integrating all those essences of love within yourself. And basically the divine love of all is all those loves encompassed. So if you forget even one tiny aspect, which maybe be this human love, the love of the human experience, you're not a master of divine love. So they've shared with me, my oversoul group, since years back when I started with Ascension Pioneers, and I said, well, what is really the purpose of this? And they said, you're a teacher of divine love. And I didn't know. I said, okay, whatever. And a huge part of me thought that's that love, all-encompassing love of all. But what I'm more and more learning and mastering at this time is how I need to speak up with my human experience, how my magical child wants to experience and express itself as well. Because a lot of times, because of this universal service to all love, I've come here and I thought everything was fine, that I'm always fine and I'm only here to serve others and I don't have to have my personal experience. Boy, I was wrong, because you see, I negated an aspect which is a part of the all, which is my uniqueness. And that uniqueness is here within the greatness. And that is service, and that is devotion to all, and yet is unique in itself, and it cries out for these human experiences as well. And for example, a lot of the things I've been feeling for a very long time were coming at the exclusion of something else. And I've been thinking, well, I cannot be a mother in a human form, in a human body, if I were to do what I'm doing now and be a mother in a bigger way, like a mother of new consciousness. And the thing is, why is this even exclusive? Why can this not be unified? And for us to become a divine lover of life means that all these types of love, from agape to eros, to love of service and devotion, to love of mother, father, to the love of the children, all of these are written in Libro Rosso, which is the book of love, written by Joshua's daughter, I think, transmitted through his teachings. Is we need to become a conscious carrier, the channel for that. And that is our twin. For me, that is the twin soul, is that unity of all of that polarity mastered in one essence, and we become the biggest mirror for that. Once you achieve that, anyone and any extension of you can be seen as the beloved, and all the people you meet, they will feel you, they will be moved by your love. And this is happening, this experience with me, with many people now. They're just, if they're open, if their hearts are open, they look at you and they start crying, and they're like, you move me for some reason, and you don't know why. And in a way you do, because you embody this new prototype, which is the completed human being. And the completion cannot come at the exclusion of something. Completion means all levels in unity consciousness, and that means even if we're saying we're going as a planet into fifth density, that still doesn't mean that all other dimensions do not coexist within you, and all the potentials and all the realities, because the human has within itself, because of its consciousness and how we were designed as human beings, we have the potential to create anything, to feel and experience anything. And the whole various rainbow spectrum exists within us. But a lot of us have been saying, no, we're just spiritual, we're just vertical. Or if I ascribe to myself as just the priest or priestess archetype, other archetypes with me were not lived through. And the whole nature of our multidimensional experience now is we are so many aspects. We can be all of them. That's the magical child, is the synthesizer of our ascension experience. It knows how to glow. It knows when to be, when one it wants to be in one essence and when it wants to be in another aspect, and how to emanate and reverberate all that out in many of these expressions. These expressions do not kind of exclude itself and saying, I can only be this, and if I have this, I have to sacrifice my life. And, like Mother Virgin, Mother Mary, we have these false perceptions of these archetypes that basically are just coexisting, and we can have all. And when we look at the nature of ascended masters and we say, this is the ascended master of this ray and of that focus, we also have that focus. I'm more of a white lady, I'm more of a white ray person, and this white ray includes many different variations in all the colors, and that's just my purpose. But it doesn't mean now that I am just this. I'm still a being in constant expansion. It's not something that when we focalize, the focus that does not mean with this focus now you're gonna actually negate all other potentials and experiences. You're just focusing as long as you need to for a certain purpose and a certain mission, but you're still open in all areas, in all segments of life. So our true ascended, descended experience is to embrace that breath of life, to embrace our relationships that are coming in a new way, and allowing ourselves, and I put this into your heart, those of you who feel you are more coming from higher realms into this experience to serve the planet at this time, that we are not separate from the whole planetary experience and existence. And because of it, we're not going to have lives that will be full of a lack of some other things because we're here just to do this or that. It has to be in a way completed. We need to feel complete, because when we feel complete and sustained and fulfilled, we're doing our missions in a much better way. So if you have a relationship, or you have a label of a relationship, or you have something that you feel in a way, now it looks like I'm glowing, you feel that in a way it has come to a detriment of yourself, and you feel like there's certain aspects missing, the question would always be, how can you bring those aspects more closer within you? Because they won't come externally as that fulfillment. And people are trying to seek that perfect match for themselves. And many times I've been asking myself, like I said before, is there someone who can fully reflect to you all these types of love? And if you're a very, very wide being, right? If you're a being that is just so wide in your in the way you love, in the way you offer love, in the way you yourself are offering, you're never going to be able to probably fully filter this through one experience or one person. You're going to have that freedom to experience all of it. And this is something we're stepping into now. So this new twin soul completion is all about the freedom to have that experience. So I hope this video, for a lot of you, it makes some sense, or it brings some furthering into your processing. And thank you for asking additional questions sometimes, so I can put in my videos, or I can expand as I go along. The next upcoming video will have a lot of information within it. And just remember, watch the video before this one, Becoming the Human Beloved, because it's so important. It talks about exactly this process, because the star aspect within us is no more important than, we say, oh, the denser human me. And as long as we still have that, we're still feeding the separation consciousness. And sometimes it feels unpleasant when we need these other aspects, maybe not through ourselves, maybe through other people. But anything that kind of still feels unpleasant is work for us. It means more mastery, more acceptance, more loving. So that means more unity consciousness in itself. So thank you for watching. I hope this kind of planted some seeds within your awareness to know that there's so much more to the words twin soul than most people make it about. It's about the community. It's about the expanding and going out with this love that we embody ourselves. Who our divine counterparts will be in a physical sense, who we're going to choose as life partners, especially for Ascension Pioneers. It will be shown to us, it will be presented, but we have to allow the love aspect within us to choose. And sometimes this is not a rational choice. It cannot be made through just, because sometimes, I've been pondering about this just recently. Someone can feel so right on paper and everything seems perfect, but there's still no passion or that magic. And sometimes, because those of us who are doing the mastering polarity work, right, to meet the worlds, that the worlds are meeting through us, we're actually choosing a lot of this. It's not conflicting energy, it's just a very much polarized energy, because that's what we're doing. As masters of conscious creation, we want to bring all those aspects through us into unity. And a lot of times we're going to choose a more challenging situations, and I've already shared about this in my beloved videos, and some of you have said that my beloved videos are one of the best videos I make, and it's because everything about these videos that I do, it comes through a lot of self-processing. Everything that spirit shows me, it's not just something I make up, or it's not something I watch from the other videos. It's a totally inward thing. It's how I receive and how spirit shows to me, and a lot of initiation and mastery here with this video. So that's why they're very heartfelt. They're just showing us the pathway to, really let go of anything that we still perceive as less aware, more aware, denser, lower, denser. It's like, it's all just experience. The moment when we see that, we can see what experience will bring us joy, and that will be aligned with who we are. That will be aligned with our twin magic within, and what keeps us away from that joy. In the moment, we can only know in the moment. So all the past, future projections are keeping us away from that moment. In the moment, we know what we know, and we will continue to know. And that knowing does embrace also part of us that does not know. Which means for me, my example was the cosmic knowledge and all this. The vertical part I got covered. It was easy, like I said before. I know what I know, what I know. But the most challenging aspect was the parts that I needed to go through as a human experience, because I knew I don't know, and it's scary sometimes. I have to go through situations that I don't know how, but the heart is just guiding you. And the heart, like I said, is the connector. It's the cosmic connector of the higher realms, lower realms, masculine, feminine. It's the birthing place and the meeting space when the divine feminine and masculine meet and become divine lovers. So I hope that resonates. I hope it makes some sense, makes some cosmic sparkles within you. I really wanted to record with my beautiful Teddy today because he's so full of love. I know he's just a toy, but he does not like to be seen as such. He really feels alive to me sometimes, and it's because we do infuse the things we love with our consciousness. So that's the whole magic of our divine love experience in human form, because we are here to feel how divine love can precipitate into our human form. And for a lot of us who have great, great, great amounts of love capacity, we're not going to choose the easiest situations to pour it through. And that's what we're doing it this way, because we knew we can, and because we can do it. So thank you for watching, for subscribing, for liking, sharing, whatever it is, for supporting or donating if that is what you feel called to do, if you benefit from my guidance. Thank you so much. I love you all so very much. You don't know how, but Teddy does. And I'll see you in my next video update. Prepare yourself, brace your seatbelts, because there's a lot to be shared in my next galactic update. So have a beautiful time with always so much love, wisdom, and power. Straight from my heart. Bye-bye.